Hello there, welcome to another character profile, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the best characters to be unleashed into the comic book world. From Brian Lee O'Malley's wonderfully inventive and funny graphic novel Scott Pilgrim, she is none other than Ramona Flowers. The way O'Malley writes the character is one full of mystery, and I think the personification of perfect yet unattainable girl. Of course, those 7 evil exes don't help in that matter. Ramona is an American delivery girl who moves to Toronto as a way of leaving behind her old life, and upon there comes upon the instantly love-struck Scott Pilgrim. After they start going out, the League of Evil Exes comes crashing into both their lives. Now Scott has to defeat her 7 exes in order to stay with her. Among them is a famous actor, a lesbian ninja, and Gideon Graves, the founder of the League and the final boss in this video game-inspired universe. Through this, their relationship is tested as they both develop and mature over the course of the volumes. Like the rest of the Scott Pilgrim characters, Ramona has special abilities of her own. She's able to use a subspace in making her deliveries, and occasionally enters Scott's mind that way. Oh, and that little bag she has with her? Yeah, there's a giant mallet in there. Her fighting abilities help on occasion, like when she has to fight against Scott's own ex, Knives Chow, in the Toronto Reference Library. Her head also glows at certain points, whenever she gets upset, and she changes her hair color periodically. At one point during the comic book, Scott goes to live at Ramona's temporary residence, but after she disappears, he accidentally gets locked out and loses her cat Gideon. If you want to know what happens next, seriously, read the comic books. They're very funny books with well-drawn characters, and while Ramona is my favorite character, Scott and Kim Pine are up there as well. The story keeps you gripped throughout, and to me, it's also funny seeing actual Toronto locations being utilized in the story, like Casa Loma, Honest Ed's, Dundas Square, Pizza Pizza, Second Cup, the Baldwin Steps, and other places. In 2010, the graphic novels were adapted into the feature film Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Edgar Wright did an amazing job of bringing the comics to the screen, impressively condensing those 6 volumes into a little under 2 hours, and making it work well as both an adaptation and on its own. Every actor was so perfectly cast, with the best in my opinion being that of Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Ramona. She did such an amazing job of bringing the character to the screen, not only with the fact that she is incredibly attractive, but in her sense of humor, her chemistry with Michael Cera, and even in just facial expressions. You can see a lot of the pain she is going through. The way she interacts with Scott, you feel these two are right for each other despite being polar opposite personalities, and this is even a little bit evident in their first meeting. Throughout the course of the film, there's a connection between Ramona and Scott, whether it be by little glances or their back and forth conversations. And lest we not forget the song he writes for her, that in a way works under her mysterious guise and how little we know of her background. She holds her own in the fighting sequences, using her giant mallet, or using Scott as a weapon to fight against Roxy. However, always at the back of her mind is Gideon, constantly controlling and stopping her from finding any future happiness. Those 7 evil exes are not simply a plot device or characters, they are obstacles for not only Scott, but for Ramona as well. It's a past coming back to haunt her, and it's interesting how some of them are evil by their own devices, while others are evil because Ramona unintentionally made them that way. Edgar Wright even drops little visual hints throughout the film that foresee the possibility of Scott becoming an evil ex himself. Again, that's a key to how good Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is. It has these little layers in it. The first time I watched it, I saw it as a visual, video game-like feast made especially for nerds like myself. On multiple viewings, I started to notice just how incredibly well-developed these characters are, and how every little visual cue has a meaning behind it. Oh, and the audio commentary with Edgar Wright and Brian Lee O'Malley is definitely worth a listen, as it provides even more insight into Ramona Flowers and the world of Scott Pilgrim. In a way, you can almost point to Ramona as the heart of the story. She gets it running, and it's her involvement with Scott that leads to the chaos and street fighting and mortal combats that happen. Were Ramona not in this film, well, it would just be about a 20-something guitar player dating a 17-year-old Chinese girl. In conclusion, Ramona Flowers is my favorite character in the Scott Pilgrim comic books and film adaptation for a reason. She's smart, sarcastic, mysterious, unsure of herself, but not in an off-putting way, and she can fight just as well as Scott. And I would not be lying if I said I felt she was probably the cutest and most attractive character in the history of comics. And getting Mary Elizabeth Winstead to play in the film version? Perfect casting. You know, suddenly, I'm in the mood for some Tim Hortons. Well, I guess I can just go across the street, really. See you next time.